Hello, friends. This is Isaiah, and you are here. Hope everyone's doing wonderful today. It's been a nice day. It's been a day of clarity and focused thought. You got me into thinking about today's subject, which what we'll be talking about is perspective. Perspective. Perspective is everything, and I've touched on it briefly in previous videos, but I wanted to go a little deeper into the subject today. It sounds pretty common sense. Most of my topics sound common sense until you really kind of break them down. Perspective is everything because that's when our beliefs come into action. Perspective is our fundamental view of the world. And sometimes when we're looking at things, when we're interpreting information and processes going on around us and interactions with other people, we're processing all of this information with poor definitions in our mind, or poor kind of maybe incomplete view of a given situation. What I'm trying to say is sometimes we'll think we know how something is defined, but we don't. And because we don't know how something is typically defined, that will cause us to misperceive the situation or object or whatever it is that's fallen into your field of vision, your field of perception. It's caused me to go inward as always and look at my own perception on things. And I was able to answer some questions for myself, some ideas floating around up in the old noggin that I hadn't really taken time to break down and process. And I started asking myself, well, how is it that I define things going on around me? Well, I want to pause right there and back up just a little bit. I want to discuss physiological factors, I think, that affect our perception before I go into defining actual perspectives. But I've always mentioned this, I talk about it a lot. All of the information around us that we consume in through our five senses, I think, is a big catalyst as to how we perceive information. Like, for instance, I noticed I've been doing intermittent fasting, and I've never done it before. Kind of accidentally done it in the past where you skip breakfast, that whole thing. But basically, you don't eat anything for 16 hours. You can only eat for an 8-hour window within a 24-hour period. And I noticed the way that I'm doing it is I'm skipping breakfast. And I'm not usually eating my first meal until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the day. It just depends on when I get started the night before. Then after that, I can eat until about 11:30 at night. And I've noticed not getting up in the morning, and breakfast used to be my favorite meal of the day. But I've noticed when I get up and I don't expend energy thinking about what I'm going to eat, then expend energy actually making something and then consuming it, and then my body spending information to break it all down and turn it into nutrients that fuel this machine. When I freed myself, I noticed of those processes, I had a lot more, I guess, mental fortitude to be able to think clearly and to perceive kind of my own life in some new ways. This practice has definitely, I feel, where it's kind of stabilized my hormone levels. My nervous system feels a lot more calm. My brain feels more relaxed and I feel more focused, having this extra energy for other things. And I feel this has definitely affected my physiological perspective. It's affected how my body functions. Therefore, it affects how my eyes and my brain and all of my five senses work together in order to perceive my reality. And it's this clarity has given me some new insights into things that I just kind of classified as the norm that's been hindrances in my life. I guess you could say it's left me kind of blind to things my reptilian mind or body's been kind of carrying out, very damaging things, old habits, and just things I need to let go of, some emotional baggage, things that I need to let go of from way back in my past. I've also noticed decreasing sugar in my diet to almost none has helped for clarity of mind. And that has in turn affected my physiological perspective. I don't know, it's been interesting. I don't endorse any kind of eating style, as everyone's body is different and what everyone needs in their life is totally different. There's no one uniform thing that I think that people can do or should do in order to embark on being more introspective. But a lot of cultures throughout history have practiced the art of fasting in order to strengthen their spiritual endeavors. I definitely feel, or maybe it's a placebo, feel a little stronger connection with my energy body. I feel better, I feel healthier. I've only been doing this for 4 days. I've got about 66 hours of fasting time in this week, and it's been interesting. But I think there's a lot of things like that that affect our physiological perspective. Weather, I think, is one. The conditions of your environment, that sense perception of cold or hot or drastic change in temperatures, sense perception of sound and vibration in your environment can have physiological effects on your perspective. And I think when you start like this, when you break it down to the physiological things that are affecting our perspectives, the mental things pop up and cling to those sensations, those sense perceptions. And then when that happens, we're associating a sense perception with an idea. So when we have the idea, no matter what kind of conditions we're in, we have that sense perception. And I think that sort of thing can kind of skew our perception of things. Practicing daily, being in the moment awareness, meditating, these sorts of things can help bring stability to all of that, all of the noise that your mind makes when perceiving what's going on around you, all of the kind of shifts in the energy body and the physical body, that all the little twitches and things that make us feel uncomfortable in the realm of our sense perception. I think that when we're aware of these processes that just so naturally get carried out in our lives on a daily basis, with that awareness, it brings new abilities to the table. That awareness enables you to change and tweak certain things within the realm of your own perspective. And in doing that, you can change what you're perceiving altogether, and it changes the conditions of your environment. It changes what's being made manifest in your reality. That's why the perspective is such an important thing, because if we're going around and there's something that is causing a misfire or a breakdown in our perspectives, it's going to cause a breakdown in our reality and in our ability to manifest the conditions thereof. If we're misperceiving things, that could cause us to not take certain actions that we need to take in life. If we're misperceiving things, it can cause us to act inappropriately towards our family, friends, and people in the world. When we're misperceiving things, it allows us to embody fear and make decisions and choices based on fear and not ration and clear conscious thought. I noticed within myself, just here recently, within the last week or so, I have kind of had this unconscious dialogue going in the background of my mind that I've had there for most of my life, but I never really realized it until I kind of got to thinking about it one day, and then Ashley, my wife, mentioned it to me. She's really good at challenging me sometimes to look inward and see if what I'm doing is causing the problem or if it's an actual problem. And she's actually helped me overcome a lot of mental barriers like that in my life there, where I've been unknowingly creating unwanted chaos and disarray in my life. This particular situation that I kind of had some realization on involves with my ability to interact with others in a social setting, the dynamics of friendships and relationships and stuff like that, and the way in which I perceive those bonds and those my standing within a given social circle has been a touch thrown off. You see, I have this innate fear if I don't stay on top of it, and if I don't stay mindful of it, to live in a state of everyone wants to turn against me or harm me in some way, or they're going to backstab me. I've had a lot of negative experiences in my life that has formed that as a mental pattern within my perspective that has carried out over and over and over throughout the course of my life. And in my focusing on these fears, I've manifested a lot of really negative situations in my life. And I'm just now coming to a stage in my life where I'm able to recognize that and overcome it, because I'm aware of it. I can see it. I can see what it is that I'm allowing. I know what series of emotions and physiological changes happen within my body when I'm going into that modality, that state of mind. And I'm able to stop it. I'm able to capture that energy and place it, put it somewhere else, put it into a more beneficial endeavor in my life, that the one that serves me. I'm able to give myself a better mental position within the way I perceive my reality. It's kind of what gave me the idea to do this video on perspective. It's just my own recent kind of some realizations on things that's tripped me up really badly in the past. And I've been overcoming them for a long time, and I didn't realize it. But they've kind of crept back in, and it caused me to realize, hey, I've still got some pain, some trauma from my past that I haven't acknowledged and dealt with, and allowed to heal. This is really good. We got to give ourselves space and permission to have those feelings and process them out. We have to accept them and just kind of let them go. Ask yourself, go inward and say, hey, are there things that I experience daily? Let me stop that right there. Instead, think of it like, ask yourself, do I feel some sort of emotional pain every day? Even if it's only for a moment or if it's for half the day, no matter what the scale is. Ask yourself, do I feel emotional pain every day? Then ask yourself, what's the source of that pain? Why is this in my field of perception? Why is this in my being right now? Why is this in my energy signature? Why is this permeating from my conscious awareness? And keep doing that. Repeat that process. Kind of just stay gently fixated on it. Don't try to force anything. And see what comes up. And then when that image comes up of whatever it is that's causing you daily emotional pain, accept it for what it is. Be thankful for it. Be thankful for all the lessons that it taught you. And gracefully just kind of let it go. I'll get more into past trauma in a later video, and healthy ways of dealing with past trauma, but for now, that's just kind of what I want to mention on that subject. But yeah, we got to deal with our stuff. We got to keep this functioning like a well-oiled machine. As I've mentioned before, it's a computer and it runs on software. There's certain programs that run in the background and that run in the foreground. You know, if you're aware of the programs, if you're aware of the software, and if you know how to do all the coding work to rewrite that software, it's essentially changes the coding structure of your entire reality. You're rewriting your software, you're rewriting your reality. It's as simple as that. When you learn to be the operator of the computer and not subject to the operations of the computer, then you can begin to truly set yourself free. Then you decide how you feel, you decide how you perceive the world around you. When you do that, you can decide what you want to have around you, what you want to come into your life. Love to hear your thoughts on perception and kind of perspective. Please comment below. Let me hear your ideas. Let me learn something new. Let me grow from any experiences you might be willing to share. And others who could read the comments, perhaps they could grow from it as well. If we share and pass around information that we're comfortable with sharing, then we're actually giving each other a gift in doing that, because we can learn from experiences we may not have had yet or have had, and prevent things from happening that we don't want to experience. So it's a good thing. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel, and share any of my content you think may be beneficial to someone you may know. And as always, may you have much peace in your mind, much love in your heart, much balance in your soul. Until next time, my friends.